What is a magic month and what do you do with it? I'm going to talk to you today about how I use a magic month and how I might change that up going forward. So, if you get paid every 2 weeks, like I do, the month of January is a magic month. So, that means that there are 3 paychecks instead of 2 paychecks in this month. It usually happens twice a year. I think for 2025, it is going to be January and I think August. And I actually thought about this in terms of, is it only for those who get paychecks every 2 weeks? But actually, if you get paid every week, you would also have a magic month, because generally there's only 4 paychecks in a week, and then you'd have this extra month. So if you get paid on Friday for January, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paychecks. So that is what a magic month means. But what do you do about that? I have made other videos where I have talked about the fact that I never really feel like I get a magic month. I never really feel like I have an extra whole paycheck, because the way that I do my bills is I use my first paycheck to pay certain bills, and then I use my second paycheck to pay certain bills. The way that this third paycheck falls is like a little bit too close to the next month to pay those bills. So for example, with my second paycheck, which would normally be like around here, I would pay the things like my mortgage, which is due on the 1st. I would pay my Verizon bill, which is due on maybe the 4th. I think I have 2 or 3 credit cards that are due on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So like, I think my Costco card, where I put all the gas that we buy, goes on that card, and that is due, I think, on the 2nd maybe. And then I have another credit card, like Amazon credit card, where I only do Amazon purchases, is due on the 5th. And so things like that, where it's really tight to have that due to get paid on the 31st, and then have to pay a bill that's due like on the 1st or 2nd or whatever. However, what I have said in the past is that if you are a month ahead, it makes it a whole lot easier to do that and to really then feel the benefits of having an extra paycheck. Now, in my opinion, I'm not sure that it really is an extra paycheck, because if you budget by the number of paychecks you get in a year, then you're not getting anything extra. But if you look at everything in terms of month to month, then it might actually feel like you have an extra paycheck. So what I did last time we had a magic month, and what I'm actually going to do this time, is I used my first paycheck, which was January 3rd, to pay the bills that are due the second half of the month. So for me, it was things like I paid for one other credit card. I paid like my water bill. I paid my electric bill, because those are all due down here, and I like to pay with an early check for those later month bills. I also did a lot of cash stuffing with this first check. Now, my second check, which technically was here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this out, and I'm going to see if I can make it all the way to the end of the month with not using any of this money, and seeing if I can save it and then actually use this as though it were my second check of the month. So I'm not sure if that's going to work, but what I did was I went to the bank and I took out almost my whole paycheck. There were a few things that I needed to keep in the bank because I just knew that I had already spent it, sort of. And so I have $1,600 here. So we're going to give it a count, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So $1,600, which seems like a lot of money, and I love to see it. But what I want to do with this is I want to hold this over and put it towards debt. So I'd like to see if I don't have to spend this, and then I'm going to put it towards that debt that I've talked about many, many times from my cat Clyde that we owe for his medical emergency. And so what that means is I get to put this all into my 100 envelope savings binder. because all of this money is going to be used to pay that debt. So what I'm going to do is I took it out of the bank. Now, some people might be like, why didn't you just leave it in there? Why don't you put it into a high yield savings account? I mean, there's a lot of options, but what I realize is that if I leave this in my bank account, it will get spent. I know that about myself. I know my limitations. I know my challenges. And one of my challenges is thinking that I have more money than I do if I leave it in my bank. It's not great, but that's how I operate. And I feel like sometimes you just have to know yourself and make accommodations as such. And I know myself. So I took it out, and instead of just like keeping it in an envelope or keeping it in a binder of like month ahead, I'm putting it in here so that I can actually see how much I have. And this is, to me, this is very motivating. I've talked about that before, but like seeing all these dollars, these hundreds in here is super, super motivating to me. It makes me just want to save even more. Now, the next time we see this binder, I'm actually going to probably unstuff it. It will not be complete, but I'm going to stuff into these sections some little placeholders that say, I think they're going to say saved. I haven't really decided, but they're going to just be little placeholders that show that I saved the money, but that I had to use it for this debt. I will have to pay like a pretty significant amount on the debt every month. It's a 0% interest rate for six months. But you still have to pay something every month. I think it's like $400. So I'm going to pay more than that, but I'm going to make a large chunk of a challenge. I'm going to make a large chunk of a payment on that credit card debt. So pretty soon I will unstuff these and pay that off. But in the meantime, I wanted to put all of this in here. And at the end of this month, if I have not had to use this for anything else, then I get to use it for my debt. And this is really an experiment because it may turn out that the whole magic month thing just doesn't work for me the way I want it to. I might need to use it. There might be a bill that I usually pay with that second paycheck that is due sooner than the 31st. And if that's the case, then I can take that money out of here. So it's not, it's earmarked for the debt, but that doesn't mean that I've already spent it for the debt. Whereas if I leave this in my bank, there's definitely a risk of me spending it accidentally or intentionally, whatever the case may be. So that's what I'm going to do. And so I've got that $1,600 is now in here. And all of these are filled with hundreds. And these guys in the front will be consolidated to make hundreds. These are what I do with my savings challenges. When I finish a savings challenge, I put them into here. Then when I am able to consolidate it, it goes into back here as 100. The other thing I wanted to show you is that with the last magic month we had, I started a month ahead binder. So in here, I've got a little bit more. And what I realized the other day is that being a month ahead on my bills is really important to me, but I will never be able to be a month ahead if I have credit card debt looming over me. In particular, this credit card debt that I have for the vet bill. If I don't pay it off in 6 months, it's going to start accruing interest on the total, which was almost $11,000. So even if I've only paid it down to I've only got maybe $1,000 left, that doesn't matter. It's still going to accrue that interest on a full $11,000. So that is my priority, not my month ahead. So I'm actually going to take these. This is $500. I'm going to take these, and I'm also going to put that into here because, again, the same kind of idea. It's going to keep me from spending it. It's going to motivate me. And then once I have this debt paid off, my hope is that I won't have to go into any more debt. And I will be able to be a month ahead on my bills. But that's just, I think sometimes we have to really work with what the reality is, not with what the hopes are. And I can certainly hope that someday I can be a month ahead of my bills, or even 2 months or 3 months or a whole year ahead of my bills. How amazing would that be? But right now I know that this debt is the issue and it's keeping me from other goals. So right now the goal is to get the debt paid off with this binder. So I just added $2,100, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yep, $2,100 to this binder, which is so exciting. I'm definitely well on my way to getting this paid off for the cat. And that is how I'm working my magic month. So I hope that I will be able to utilize this as truly an extra paycheck and not need to dip into that money before the end of the month. But I'd love to hear how you guys do a magic month. Do you even have a magic month? How do you budget your magic month? What do you do with it? Or is it just nothing? Do you just treat it like just a regular paycheck? I'm really curious what other people do. I've watched a bunch of videos on it. This is mine. This is what I do. I'm still kind of figuring it out, and hopefully this is going to work for me. And if not, that's okay. I'm going to just adjust it and make it work however it happens to be. So I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for being here. I also want to acknowledge that I really am so appreciative of everybody who has subscribed and liked and watched my videos. It means the world to me. I appreciate you all so much. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.